one of the most poignant things was my last meeting with him. Um, and I got a message from Coco's PA said, could you come out to New York? And I'd get a call like that probably once a year, especially when David made a record. He'd want to play the record to me and then me to work out the PR campaign. So Coco said, well, could you come out to New York? And I looked at the diary and said, I'll come out in a couple of weeks, great. She said, well, do you think you could come out in a couple of days? That was unusual. And I thought, well, he must be very excited about the new music. So I get out there and I go down. He's at the Electric Ladyland Studios down in the Village, which used to be owned by Hendrix, but side point. And it's a big sort of sprawling studio. And I go in, it's just David in the mixing room, and he's kind of in an armchair or on a settee or something. And it's 9 o'clock in the morning. He's watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the great Sergio Leone film, which is an epic piece of filmmaking, but it's still an unusual thing to be watching at 9 in the morning, I thought. And I couldn't really work out what was in his head. I was wondering if he was thinking back to maybe when he first watched it, in the 60s, or was it the music? Because obviously he was sort of just doing the final bits of Black Star, was that theme, that sort of filmic music in his mind. Anyway, we started talking, and he was quite nostalgic, which was unlike him. And he was talking about stories in Soho in the 60s. And he was saying, oh, there was this geezer called John Biden who used to squeeze your balls and talk about clubs and gangsters and, all of that sort of stuff. And so I was matching him. I said, David, did I ever tell you about the story when I played football with Bob Marley? Or did I ever tell you about when I was hanging out with Blondie in LA and we crashed a car or whatever? So we were swapping stories for a few hours, just like two geezers down the pub, really. And it was really like, because he's got great stories, but I had a lot of stories too. So it was quite intense in a lovely way. And then Coco came back and it was time to go. We went down on the street. Beautiful, I mean, it was a beautiful blue sky, chilly New York day. Gave me a hug. I mean, he looked quite frail, but I didn't know. And that was the last time I saw him. And he was he'd passed away within a few months, and he was conscious of what he was doing. He'd called me out without me knowing to say goodbye. Remarkable thing. I mean, I only realised really afterwards quite how that had been as a parting. So that was, I mean, what would I have said if I'd have known? Who knows? It would have been very difficult to handle, wouldn't it?